Welcome to Counttuts. In this lesson, we're going to show you how to check the tax compliance status PIN and to see if the company is indeed compliant or not. And so you would have noted this document here. In fact, we did show in our previous lesson how to get the tax PIN or the tax compliance status PIN. Okay, and we did show you how to do that and how to get a document as the one you can see right now here. You've got the tax PIN for this specific company, and it says here the purpose of request is good standing, and it gives us the request reference number and the PIN. Okay, now what is this PIN for? Well, this is the PIN that I could punch in on the SARS platform and see if the company is indeed compliant or not. But here's where the confusion is, because when you send this to a client or when someone has sent this to you, it's automatically assumed that the company is compliant because this document somehow looks like the company has been compliant, or it looks like something that would be issued for a company that's only compliant. Why is that? Well, if you look at the wording here, purpose of request, good standing. And so usually when a client looks at the word good standing, they're automatically assuming that the company is actually in good standing. But that's not the case. This is just a PIN. In fact, this PIN here is what you need to punch in on the SARS platform, which will show you just now how to do, and you will get the tax compliance verification. Okay, and that verification will actually tell you whether the company is compliant or it's non-compliant. So how do you go about using this PIN to check if this specific company is actually compliant or not? Well, we have to log into eFiling and do just that. So let's go right ahead and do that. So here we are at the SARS eFiling login page, and we need to log into our profile. So I'm gonna do just that. And once we've logged in here, we need to select which profile am I going to use to check the tax status for this specific company. Well, I'm going to use my personal profile here because an SMS will be sent to the owner of the company or the public officer or the director of the company to indicate that such and such a person has used the tax PIN to check if the company is compliant. So you just have to bear that in mind. So what do you do when you're here? Well, as long as you've selected the entity that you want to check the status of the said company, once you've done that, you go to tax status, and once you are here at the tax status, you click on tax compliance status verification. Once you've clicked on that, you will see here activation come up, and you'll have to click on activation. And then once you have done that, you'll have to click here tax compliance status verification, and it says grant access to verify a taxpayer's tax compliance status and or report the details of an awarded tender. And then you will have to tick here, and then once you've done that, you activate. Right? Once I've activated, I click on continue, and here is the page you want to see. It asks you now to put the tax reference number for the entity that you'd like to check the tax status, the security PIN, and this is the PIN that is on the tax compliance status PIN document as I showed you earlier, and then you punch in the security code and then you continue. So let's do just that. So let's go to that document, and remember, this is the document that I showed you how to get in our other lesson. If you haven't checked that one out, you'll find the link in the description below where we show you how to get the tax compliance status PIN. But once you have this document, you can actually check if the company is actually compliant. Don't immediately assume that the company is compliant because you see the word here, good standing. No, it just tells you this is the purpose for which the request was made. And now here is what I want. Firstly, I want the taxpayer reference numbers. Now, you can either put the income tax number, the VAT number, or the payee number. So I'm going to put the income tax number. You can see here the taxpayer's reference number. It gives me all the three. So I'm just going to select the payee number and copy it. Okay, and then I'll go back here to the verification page under my eFiling profile, and I will paste the tax reference number, and then I will have to put in the security PIN. What is the security PIN? Well, that's the PIN down here where it's written PIN. I'm going to copy the entire thing here and then come back here and put the security PIN here. Remember, without the security PIN, you're not able to check any entity's tax compliance status. And then I just need to put in the security code, and here's the security code that I'm provided. So I'm going to put that in 592, and then once I've put all the details in, I need to press continue. Once you press continue, it tells you the registered name of the taxpayer, which of course appears on that document where we got the PIN, and it gives me the registration number for the same entity. And here's an important note: you may only proceed to view the compliance status of the taxpayer mentioned below if you have been authorized by the taxpayer to view the status. Remember, if I view the status, the director or whoever's contact details are registered will receive a notification that I have viewed the status of this entity. So you just have to bear that in mind, and I'm going to click continue here. Once I've clicked continue, it will bring me to this page here, and it gives me the summary of the taxpayer. And at the bottom here, this is where it's important, the indicator. And you can see I did pick a company which is non-compliant to just show you that the tax PIN does not automatically mean the company is compliant. And you can see here it says non-compliant, and it gives the description. The taxpayer is currently non-compliant in respect of either registration, filing, and or payment responsibilities. And it says the purpose is good standing. Now you can use this page here to just verify, or you just have to wait for a few moments and you will receive the tax compliance status verification. So I'll wait for that and I'll show you how the document looks like shortly.
A few moments later.
Okay, so about 15 minutes has passed. So here's how you check. You go to returns, just make sure that the right taxpayer is selected, and this would be the same taxpayer which did the verification for the company. So I will click on returns. Once I've done that, I click here on the left where it says SARS correspondence, and then search correspondence, and then there you will see where it's written TCS third party verification result, and that's the one you want to open. So here we go. So I'll click on view, and then once I've done that, it's going to open the document for me, and here it is. And you can see it's written tax compliance status, but not PIN, verification. You can see down here it's written verification, so meaning that this is an official letter from SARS telling me whether the company is compliant or not based on my query. So if I scroll down here, you can see it's got my name or the name of the requester, there is, and then tax compliance status verification, and it gives me the taxpayer name, the trading name, the taxpayer reference number. Remember, this is the same reference number we had put, the PIN we had put, and the date of verification, and the compliance status type good standing. Of course, that doesn't mean the company is compliant, but here where it's written tax compliance status, you can see this is what is going to tell us whether the company is compliant or not, and here it's saying non-compliant, exactly what we have seen already. But this is an official PDF document that you can send to someone to show them whether the company is compliant or not. And here's the description, right? Tax compliance status description. The taxpayer is currently non-compliant in respect of either registration, filing, and or payment responsibility. So it doesn't tell me exactly why it's non-compliant. Okay, so it says it could either be registration, filing, and or payment responsibility. So you could have filed all your returns, but there is some payments pending, and you need to remedy that by making payments or making a payment arrangement or requesting for remission if you're dealing with penalties here. But this is how you go about finding out whether the company is truly compliant, not just by getting the PIN where it says that the purpose is good standing. No, you have to do the verification by putting in the tax PIN, and then you will know whether the company is compliant or not. I hope this lesson has been helpful. I hope you've gained value from this lesson. We are also registered tax practitioners, so if you need any tax services, you're more than welcome to contact us. You'll find our contact details in the description below. Till next time, cheers.